basically on our agenda, we have approximately 38 names here. Some people have multiple properties. There are some names on here, but we don't see that the people are present. So what we're going to do is just go in the order of, as it appears on our list. And we're going to take actions accordingly. So first of all, we're going to start with number one.
Commissioner Feemster, can I tell you the ones that have agreed so you
Okay,
can mark
yes,
them
you
up?
can go ahead and go with that. Sorry.
Number 2, Stephanie and Debbie Underwood. Number 3, Kim Brain. Number 4, Billy and Betty Edwards. Number 5, Robert Irvin Burrows. Number 21, Tanya Wilson. 23, Christopher Pernell, and 24, Christopher Pernell. All those have agreed.
All right. Thank you very much.
Harper's agreed, all of those.
Okay. 25 through 38?
Correct.
25 through 38, all have agreed.
All right, thank you.
Take the heart. But they have new values. Do you need those? The other ones, the values are the same, but you need their new values?
No, ma'am.
No, we'll just go along with what appears on the tax.
We're gonna need the values stated
Okay,
so that we know what we're approving.
okay,
Okay.
all right then.
Okay, number 25, the new value is 39,317. 25, the new value is 44,949.
That was 26, Portia.
26, I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll give it again.
44,949. Number 27, 44,164. Okay. Okay. Mhm.
Oh, so we already got it then.
All those the new value for Mr. Stephen Hawk.
Okay,
Do you still need to state them, Jonathan? Still,
No, ma'am, we've got that now.
okay.
okay, all right, thank you, Ms. Brooks. Okay, basically, we have a sheet that has the new values, for the revisions that were made by the Vance County Tax Office. We want to go ahead and, review those, new valuations, since the individuals have approved. I would suggest that we approve them as well. It's for numbers 25 through 38. Someone just want to make a motion.
I'm doing a motion. Do we approve them?
So we have a motion that we approve the valuations as revised by the tax office for numbers 25 through 38. We have a list. And the motion has been made for approval. It's been properly second. All those in favor?
All right,
Any opposition?
nay.
By unanimous vote, all of the new valuations have been approved for numbers 25 through 38. So now we start with number 1. Marty and Sheila Garrett. They're not present. There was an appeal made to the Vance County Tax Office. We have a valuation of $164,599. Do we have a motion for approval or disapproval?
Motion. Second.
So we have a motion that we approve the assessment made by the Vance County Tax Office. It's been properly second. All those in favor?
Favor. Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Any discussion?
No.
So by unanimous vote, we approve for number 1 on our agenda.
Madam Chair, if I may, a minute, Can we go ahead and get a motion to approve 2, 3, 4, 5, 21, 23, and 24 as well before we forget?
Okay, we've had a motion that we approve,
I make a motion to approve 2, 3, 4, and 5.
21, 23, 24, and 26 through 38.
Okay.
Go ahead, man.
so there's been a motion that we approve those individuals who have consented that appears on our, agenda for today.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a second?
Second.
So the motion has been made properly second, all those, any discussion?
No discussion.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? By unanimous vote, those, property valuations have been approved by the Vance County Board of Equalization. So now we go down to, number 6 and 7 and 8, Christopher Askew, is he present? Have you heard, has the tax office employees heard from him? Okay, he's not present. The meeting was called at 1 o'clock. Are there any motions? That we approve, number 6, 7, and 8?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made that we approve the evaluations for number 6, 7, and 8 for Christopher Ray Askew. On Raleigh Road and also at 217 Clark Street and 810 High Street. Should we do them all together, Jonathan, or separately?
You may do all of them
Okay,
in one
so-
motion.
Motion has been made, properly second, in discussion. So all those in favor of approving 6, 7, and 8,
Aye.
any opposition?
Nay.
By unanimous vote, we approve 6, 7, and 8. Now for 9 through 13, Norman Hilliard. Norman Hilliard,
He's here?
so if you would come up to the podium, please. Good afternoon. I believe, your property appeal started, listing started at number 9 on our agendas for the board members. Have you been notified of, any adjustments that were made from the time that you originally got your notice about what the valuations were?
Yes, we met with someone Friday.
Mr.
Yeah, Friday afternoon.
Okay, and, after meeting with them on Friday, you still are opposed to the amount that they've come up with, that's correct?
We agreed to most of them except for the one with the 46 Hilliard Lane,
Okay, just a minute.
1,000.
Okay, 46 Hilliard.
That would be case number 9. Board.
So are you in agreement with 10, 11, 12, and 13?
I don't know what
Oh,
that
okay.
is, so.
So we'll start with 46 Hilliard Lane. The evaluation shows $140. 100, let me see. excuse me.
Take the hundred.
$140,262. And do you have any documentation as to why you don't agree for
Yes,
this particular amount?
Yes, I have pictures.
That's one set, correct?
You got one,
Yes, yeah, one set.
so we just look at it and pass it. You look at one and pass it down, one for 1 second.
Oh, okay.
This has nothing to do with us. on everything.
Okay, did you get this property appraised, or do you have any other documentation that shows valuation, which is different from what the, tax office explained to you as to how they reached their assessment?
Well, Friday that we got it down to 98,000, but, we bought the house from a church and they had gutted it out. There was damage to it as well. And then it had roof damage, so you can see all the water damage is in there as well. And then there was no wall, so the house is unfinished still,
When did you buy the house?
2018. We bought it from a
2018?
church.
Uh-huh, no.
Okay, so number, 9 is at 98 now, is that right?
So that was reduced to 98,696 when we met last week. It
Okay,
was after the materials for the board were produced, so there's a little discrepancy there, but we would support 98,696.
okay, and so you still are opposed to the, 98,696? And could you explain, to the board your position?
Because the house is unfinished, does not have a permanent foundation. There's no concrete footing at all. It is just sitting on the ground. So there's a lot of settling, so that you can see the damage on like the roofs, the ceilings are cracking. So he had showed me pictures of other houses, but all of those had permanent foundations. I do not. There's just plastic skirting on part.
Okay, I would like to hear from the,
Certainly. Well, we would be of the understanding that the foundation isn't dependent on the skirting or the comparables that had the brick skirting, but is actually going to be a pier and post up under any double-wide manufactured home, supporting the metal frame that's underneath that home. So we think that would be relatively similar. Now, they've said that there is no footing underneath those posts, underneath those supports. And our understanding is that code would require that you would have to have a footing. So if that's the case, that would be a serious problem we would be concerned about. The problem we have is that there was a permit taken out when the double wide was put in place. The CO was issued as of July 31st of 2018. And so at that time, it passed inspection. So not having received any evidence that there is no footing, we would assume that it is to code, or it would not have gotten the CO.
okay, did you go back out and look at the house prior to making your decision?
I have not personally inspected.
Okay.
Are you living in it now? Is he living?
And you don't have any, anything from an inspector, or anybody who came out and looked at it to give a different valuation than what the tax office?
No, I
It's
purchased
stated.
the house for $40,000.
So what now?
I purchased the house for $40,000,
Okay.
And what year did you purchase it?
2018.
Thank you.
I'm doing all the work myself, so it takes a little time.
Did you
But you-
purchase it on the market, or did you purchase it from a private sale?
Private,
Sure,
private
sure.
sale.
So what is the pleasure of this?
What was the tax figured on 23? What was it based on? What now?
The difference is $252.30.
$252.
$649.39.
252. 252.
So they're paying 252 more this year than what they paid last year.
And that's based on the 98 or the 140? The 98.
You have a problem with 252 increase? $252
'Cause,
increase?
I mean, I got a 1% raise, so that's 17
That's
cent
what?
raise. I only got a 17-cent raise, so that isn't, you can't double my house like that. My pay didn't go up double.
Oh, I had one.
I don't.
I understand where you're coming from. My son, in terms of tax value, his house payment went up $500 more a month.
Yeah, I don't get that kind of raise. I work for Mariah Parham, so we got a 1% raise, which was 17 cents.
Wait a second.
This is your house.
Yes. And I didn't get my raise till like the end of October, so I can't come up with the extra 600 or even 200 something dollars off my little 17-cent raise.
Now, I guess, when you went to the tax office, they did explain to you that the valuations are not based on a person's personal finances, but they are based on what the market rate is in the community in which the house is situated.
But the market value goes by inflation. So
Yeah, and.
I didn't, my raise didn't inflate that much, so.
Yeah, but the market did, and so we have to
But it
go,
didn't.
you know, and it has not gone up since in 8 years. And I know you say you bought it in 2018, so you've had it about 6 years, so
Ma'am.
technically you've been paying the same thing. But because of the fluctuation in the market, prices have gone up, and so we have to adjust it accordingly. That's why we have to do an adjustment every 8 years. So is there what is the pleasure of the board?
Same.
The motion has been made that we adopt the assessment made by the Vance County Tax Office for 98,696. Is there a second?
Leo, Ms. Perry?
I'm trying to figure out what is this, $21 more a month? She said 252, $21 more a month.
Yeah.
That's what she's having to pay.
Well, the one I got it doubled.
No.
So from 600 to 1,200 a year.
It says, I figured the difference is that it's costing you $21 more a month. For the increase is costing you $21 more a month. That's what it's costing you.
So when you say it doubled, what do you mean what doubled?
Because last year I paid 600 something, and then the one that they sent us was 1,200 and something.
Yeah, but it went down Friday, so the price went down.
Yeah, but all I got was just the
Yeah.
value, but not the actual price of the
250,
tax.
250.
What would it
The
be?
increase is $21 more a month.
252.
Taxes for 2024 will be $897.69.
So
$252 more a month, a year,
897,
$21 more a month.
We keep going on and on.
897.
$897.69.
Okay, so do you realize it's not doubling, it's only going up $252, which, the commissioner says is approximately $21 a month.
That's it.
$21 more a month.
So it's not gonna be 1,200 based on the Friday's reassessment, it's gonna be 897.69.
So even with all the damage to the house and stuff, but you still think it's worth $98,000.
That's personal. That's maintenance. You have nothing to do with maintenance.
Yeah, because that's
But
a
it's the
substantial
property's
decrease.
value though, that's.
You know, I had one that was 19,000 and went to 108.
Okay, now if you have something
It happens.
from an appraiser or something saying that it's lower than that, then we can entertain that. But for right now, the only thing you've shown us is photographs, and we are really not professional construction. So we go by what our professional appraisers have stated, unless you bring us in other documentation. And so since you just got the reevaluation of the 98 on Friday, this is December, we're getting ready to end the Board of E&R. And you don't have anything to show us, do you, that shows anything different, why you're saying 40,000 other than what you paid for it 6 years ago? So we had a motion. The board has stated that they agree with what the appraisers have stated. We have a motion that we accept that. Is there a second?
Second?
You made the motion.
You made the motion. I'm reluctantly second.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me.
We have a motion and second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No?
Okay, all those in favor?
Sean, who's conducting the meeting?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
All those opposed?
I vote in favor.
Okay, so, by unanimous vote that we as a board has decided to accept the value of the, Vance County Tax Office for the $98,696. Based on the readjustments that were made in light of the fact that you did not have the, you had, some ongoing construction and lack of, foundation areas. So we're gonna accept the 98,000. without, and what I would say to you is you can appeal it. You'll get a notification in the mail if you don't agree with this. And also, next year, we're in the month of December, so next year tax evaluations will start again for January. So if you still disagree, then you can get reappraisers, talk to appraisal company, real estate individuals, and maybe if you can come back with a different valuation, you're free to go to the tax office and present that information.
Okay,
Can I ask you a question? I don't mean to, next to you, is that your,
that's my father.
does he live, that's his house or your house?
No, it's my house. He lives at 175. We had put an appeal for that, but that got lost. Because his really jumped up as well.
Because I was thinking, because, seniors get a look at income and everything, there can be an adjustment based on.
Well, my husband is disabled, but the property is not in his name, so they won't give us the discount. Which is kind of crazy.
Okay,
With his name?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
next we have Hicks Land, $6,500. The value under appeal is $7,400. Your opinion is that the property is worth $4,000, but the assessors have recommended a value of $6,500.
We got that down to $3,467 when we met Friday.
Are you satisfied with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, number 11, is Strickland the Strickland land, are you satisfied with, $4,052?
There's two Strickland lands.
Yes,
One parcel number is the 1,023, and then there's another one, 1,022.
22.
So which one are you talking about?
Well, yes, 123, $4,052.
No, we came up to a 2804 agreement.
Are you satisfied with that amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the second, 122 Strickland, 4,263. Are you satisfied with that?
No, we come up with a 3134.
Okay, are you satisfied with the 3134?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the last one is again, Hilliard Lane.
The parcel number 1,015.
Yes, was there adjustment made Friday?
Yes, we got it down to $2,088.
Okay, and are you satisfied with that amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we've, voted to accept, the valuation as stated for number 9, and then from number 10, 13, the consumer, is stating that they are satisfied with the agreement that was made between the homeowner and the tax office for valuations, for 10 through 13. Are there any motions that we accept, the agreement that was made between the homeowner and the tax office for number 10 through 13?
Legal motion, accept.
Okay, the motion has been made and properly second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Any opposition? By unanimous vote, the agreement is that we accept the assessed value between the homeowner and the Vance County Tax Office for numbers 10 through 13.
Also, on the 46 Hilliard Lane, I'm being charged for an acre of land, which I do not own. It is not an acre of land.
Okay, so you would
So I've
need,
been charged that for 6 years. And then the person that owns the little 50 by 50 that would keep me from having an acre of land,
Mhm.
he pays taxes too. So y'all were double taxing, which is illegal.
Huh.
So
But that's not before us right now. So what I would recommend.
that
is-
was on my complaint with the appeal, was that I was being taxed for property that I do not own.
Okay, so when you met with them Friday,
We discussed that, but they said I'd have to file another form or a written letter complaining about double taxation.
okay, yeah, so that's something that's not on our agenda, so we're not aware of that. So I guess the
Well, it
first,
should have been on my appeal.
huh?
It should have been on that appeal that I'm paying tax on property that I do not own.
I would note that D book 1311, page 857 describes their land as 1 acre more or less. We are taxing an acre of land. I don't know what the discrepancy is, but it does match with what records I can see.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would recommend, again, like you said, you can look at that and make whatever adjustments need to be made, to assess and make sure that she's only paying for what is legally hers and the other person is paying what is legally theirs. And if, she's been overcharged, then whatever policies that you all have in the tax office to handle that, that be taken care of.
I would recommend that a survey is required for us to make a determination of how much land is being provided or not.
Well,
in
y'all
North-
have a
in North-
picture of it and you can see the
Yeah.
other person's property.
Well, in North Carolina, though, to determine the amount of land, North Carolina requires a surveyor to make that determination.
I get it surveyed.
That's right.
Okay. So this is, our county attorney,
Mr. Care, yes.
yeah, and so he would, his recommendation that you go ahead and get it surveyed or, your survey, do you have a survey from 6 years ago?
No, we bought it, he bought the land from the, an auction, which was up for auction 3 times and never got sold because there was 2 older houses that we had to tear down. So he bought the land for 800, so. Do y'all survey the land before you sell it?
Excuse me?
I said, do y'all sell the land before you sell it?
Well, Mr. Care takes care of that.
No, ma'am. Surveys are not required before property is sold.
So you just sell the land just at any measurement and just say, oh, it's this?
As is, you buy it as is, pretty much. You buy it at auction.
Yeah, when I was saying that the land was auctioned off, I say 3 times, but it was, I went to the first auction and I bid at 1,500 for the place. They wouldn't take that. So in a couple of weeks, we went back and they had another auction for the same place. And I bid it, 15 again. I didn't get it. I got a letter in the mail that says there were no bidders. I bid it. So after that, I talked to Sam Brummer and he told me what to do. So I went back to the courthouse and registered deeds or whatever over there. And they told me I had to fill out this paper. And so I filled out this paper and then you got to put it in the paper for 10 days, I believe it was. And then if nobody else don't beat your bid, but I dropped my bid, guy, I'm supposed to pay, put in the newspaper, that expense, so I dropped the bid down to $850. And I was awarded the property based on $850. So I'm just saying that, and then I turned that property into a mobile home for her,
Okay.
which the property damage on there was what tax on it, 600 or something.
It was 600.
It was $600, so I think I done the county a real uplifting to take a piece of land that nobody will buy, nobody wouldn't buy. And to change that price from 0, nobody wouldn't buy it to we said 6,000.
It was 600 I was paying, but now they jumped it
600.
up.
So you can see for $600, $600 a month,
A year.
Vance County, excuse me, a year from that price to the price that they're paying for now. Now, that's a real profitable value purchase, you know.
And we thank you for, participating in our, foreclosure proceedings, because it does help us to get land back on the books. When there's land that's been sitting there, like you say, people may not, have paid taxes on it and go through tax foreclosure. But at the same time, it's not a normal sale like it's listed on the market, so we don't go through the same formalities in terms of conducting surveys and such. That's up to the individual buyer if they want to get the property surveyed, and a lot of times that's after purchasing is recommended that you get it surveyed so you know exactly what you have. Right now, we do have Mr. Care, and again, what's your recommendation for them to make sure that everything's in proper order?
What I'd say is get a survey, and if the survey shows that it's less land, that's a correction that can be made.
But the picture that y'all actually pulled up or whatever, you can see that the cutout is there that I do not own, and someone else owns it.
Okay.
So,
That's GIS though. That's just there for information. That is not accurate or to be used for survey or other purposes.
Yeah, I'm up here. My complaint is, uh, I had fulfilled those in the past and one of the discounts for senior citizens 65 and over. And I'm 84. And when this come out in the mail, I couldn't figure out why I was not, why I was exempted from it because, uh,
Well,
I still got the same property, the same, everything's the same except the price.
there's various reasons why, a person may be accepted for the exemption or not accepted. It's just because you're a senior citizen, it's based on income. And again, it's based on whose name it's in and such,
What do you think?
but the tax office can give you those requirements. Are you a veteran?
yes,
So, we do have a veteran exemptions, where you may not qualify for the senior exemption, you may qualify for the veterans exemptions. It's a matter of, making sure that the tax office has all the correct information so they can properly do their adjustments to
Well,
see if you qualify.
but he qualified for it before, and his income has not changed. He still is on Social Security.
Okay, I would defer to the tax office as to why you think it might have been different. Okay. So basically what she's saying is because the value changed, then that changed, did you explain that to them?
Yeah, he said the exemption, he said
Uh-huh.
exemption. Cause this is not one that's, on here.
Yeah, we had put an appeal in, but it got lost, so.
Okay, so I would suggest
property as
that,
well.
Yeah, he said exemption.
okay, right now, we have a list that we go by for, the ones that is before us
They
for the
lost
day.
it, so. that's
So
why
I
we
would
go through it.
suggest that you, check with the tax office about that, and then they can help you with that information, and if you're not satisfied, then you can notify, the county manager to see whether or not it's appropriate to come back before the Board of E&R to see
We have to
or
file another,
whatever
we have to
board
wait till January the
we
second.
need to do to make adjustments or whatever.
Yeah.
But just, a lot of times when you're dealing with a deed, you're going by meets and bounds of, the measurement of the property. So what may look like on a GSI photo is not necessarily going to be based on the accuracy of the actual measurements that a surveyor would conduct once they go out and walk the area and do a proper survey. So, like I said, I would suggest that you, contact the tax office to see what can be worked out. And then if you can't get anything worked out, please feel free to, contact our county manager to see the next step to take to make sure that everything is in proper and in order.
Okay, so after I get it surveyed and I've been overcharged for these 6 years, I get a refund?
I can't answer that question. We have an attorney.
No, it's up to the taxpayer to challenge the improper listing, and so it's not corrected until you provide and present evidence to correct it.
So whenever the land was purchased, it was purchased at 1 acre or actually not?
I'm referencing the correction of an improper listing on your taxes.
Anyway,
Do you have any other concerns concerning the property that's before us today?
Yeah, this property that we're talking about, you say the price is going up how much?
double? Well,
Oh.
it actually, you talking about mine?
Nah.
Oh, yours? No, yours went up, what, 50-some thousand? For a
This-
1965 trailer. No,
And
no,
this is the 1965 single.
Okay, what number is that? What address?
That's the one that they lost.
And if
the
it's not
appeal
on
for.
there, then we
Yeah.
can't entertain it today. So I would suggest that you, contact the tax office and see what your next step would be.
You have to file another appeal.
And we need to move on. because we can't address nothing else that's really not before us. We can only address what's before us today.
But what I'm saying is the property I built, I added on a room to it. And my total expense in buying the brand new mobile home, plus what I added on to it with $10,000. And I said, but I know I couldn't sell it and get that. Nobody don't want it.
Yeah, we've been hearing that all year long. But another thing is, if you felt like you filed an appeal and it was one of the ones that was part of some of the ones that there was a mix up with some of the ones that was filed, but we did get them back on track. But if that was one you felt like you did file timely, then you need to consult with the tax office to see maybe what happened. Because if it was filed timely, then, and it's our error, then we still can look at it. But that's something that the tax office would need to report to us, that they did do an investigation and your father had filed it
Yes.
in a timely
I've got
manner.
6 appeals.
We did an investigation. The ones that you're talking about, those are the ones that did them online.
Mhm.
They brought theirs
Okay.
in the office.
Okay, but you can locate do you have any receipts or anything? Did you keep a copy or anything?
All of his appeals that he filed, he asked me to stamp received on them and make copies of them. And I marked them, he has all the ones that's on the agenda, marked received, except.
Okay. Okay, we can only go with what we have documentation for. Now, if you have something that we don't have and you're able to locate it, then please feel free to notify the tax office.
He had been sick, so a lot of his stuff is missing, so.
Okay.
One of the, do y'all recognize the law, the North Carolina law on this exemption that I'm talking about? The thing in the,
What do you mean?
the levy gift to.
Oh, you're talking about the, so you agree to the price though? The one the property that has a cemetery on it, the North Carolina law says you don't be taxed for a cemetery, is what he's talking about.
Okay, Mr. Care.
We took care of that one. That was the one that they agreed on.
Yes.
That was the one they agreed on.
Okay. Yeah, so we only had one that you all contested today, and that was number 9 on Hilliard Street. The other 10 through 13, you pretty much stated that you could send it to the reductions that was worked out between you and the tax office. And so now we've called all of the ones that you have on our agenda for today. So any other concerns, I would just still recommend that you talk to the tax office about it. And if you can't work anything out, confer with the county manager about that, but we need to go ahead and move on. We really, you're asking us questions about information we don't know about, and we're really not at liberty to be giving out information we have no information about. We can only go forward what's before us today on our agenda. And we've reviewed all of the properties that you had for today, which was 9 through 13. But like I said, our tax office, they're open Monday through Friday, so if you have any concerns, please feel free to reach out to them. Okay, now we're gonna move on to number 14, which is Mark Woodliff. He has number 14 through number 20. Were there any adjustments made to the
Madam Chair, we have a letter.
okay.
We have one left.
Okay, we're gonna hold that one open then until the end. Okay, number Horace Taylor, number 22. He's not present. Was he given proper notice to be here?
Yes,
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
pass.
Accept the tax levy.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we accept the the appraisal value by the tax office for $77,930? All those any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposition? The ayes have it unanimous that we accept number 22, the property valuation of Horace Taylor passes. Okay, number 23, 24 has passed. We've dealt with 25 through 38. So now we want to deal with Mark Wood.
Madam Chair, if I may, while you guys review that,
Mhm.
Mr. Woodruff asks for a continuance until next year, which number one is not allowed by law.
Okay.
We have to wrap all this up by the end of the year. The second thing, the basis for his request is that he's saying he did not hear our counter offer until just recently, which, as you guys know, this is not a offer, counter offer, and that type of a process. It's information that he has to collect to support the value of his opinion of his real estate. And so therefore, this is not a give me your information and let me go out and refute it and challenge it as much as it is, let me show you the basis of what I believe the fair market value is. So the reasons and the rationales asserted to ask for this continuance is not exactly in line. The other thing that I would point out is these are the last cases except for the consent agenda at the very end. This is all that this board has until we can wrap up and adjourn permanently for 2024. So just keep that in mind as you guys consider this request.
Okay. Basically, notice just went out at the beginning of the year, in the spring about our reevaluation process, our appeals process, the deadlines, and then that we would be hearing, appeals for the Board of E and R, up until the end of December, at the scheduled time, as our county attorney has stated, we're at the end of the, time limit in which we, as a board, are meeting to review. Mr. Wolf has filed an appeal. He's not here today. He has submitted a letter. However, this would go past the deadline. Is there a motion
Yes, ma'am.
that we accept evaluations or disapprove?
I put in a motion that we accept evaluations and end it for this year.
We have a motion that, we did not, the continuation, accept the present evaluations by the tax office. Is there a second?
Seconded with the course.
Do you understand?
So I have one question. Is tomorrow's Board of E&R canceled? Because we haven't received notification officially. So, okay, so today is it. Okay, all right, just want to confirm because we have a scheduled day for tomorrow and that's been canceled.
Okay,
Okay,
This is
we'll send a
it.
notice out.
this is it.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is that we tell Mr. Woodland, Jonathan, that we're gonna approve it, but he can deal with it in the next tax year, right?
That's correct.
Right.
Either that or as with all of these appeals, everyone has the opportunity, as two taxpayers have already done so far, to appeal it up to the PTC, the Property Tax Commission, and that's down in Raleigh, where we all go down and have another hearing on the valuations down there. So that's something that is available, and that would relate back to 2024 if the PTC found in their favor. If not, then the 2024 taxes, they have to pay. Everyone has to pay their taxes. And if they don't, they get hit with the late fees. But the PTC may allow to go back to 2024 retroactive, if you will. After this, you come into 2025 and like I said earlier, it's only in the tax year in which you found it. So if you do not challenge your tax listing to say, I own less than an acre of land, you've accepted it for that year, you pay taxes. If you show up and show that it is an incorrect listing and it not just a valuation disagreement, then we can correct the listing from that year going forward. So if you appeal next year for 2025, it appeals to that year's taxes.
So we have a motion that we accept.
Again, so Porsche, in terms of what he said in his letter and everything, is not true, right? He got everything in a timely manner, right?
I think his letter is saying he wanted time to take what we are saying and alleging as the basis for his property to nitpick it and to show how we were wrong. And that's not how this works. He has to show the values, and that doesn't come by just disproving the county's philosophy or basis for opinion.
Okay.
So we have a motion. Is there a second?
Yes, ma'am. I have a second.
You made a motion by Sean Austin, seconded by Leo Kelly. All those in favor of accepting the appraisals by Vance County Tax Office, say aye. Any opposed? Any discussion? Ayes have it. It's approved. The valuation by the Vance County Tax Office is approved. That should take care of all of the items on our agenda, 1 through 38. Are there any, that you all noticed that we haven't approved yet?
Consent agenda.
Yeah, the consent agenda.
Okay, yeah, I know about the
Oh,
consent
okay.
agenda. I mean, between number 1 and 38.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so now we have the consent agenda before us. Those are the items of the individuals who've consented to the valuations between the tax office and the homeowner. And so we won't be reviewing those, because this already been, consented to. Is there approval of the consent agenda motion? Is there a motion for approval? So it's been a motion made by Commissioner Kelly that we approve the consent agenda. Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposition? By unanimous vote, ayes have it that we accept the consent agenda for the valuations that appears from 1 through 28 on our December the 16th agenda. So is there any other business?
We through with this?
So is there a motion that,
Motion that we end
Yes,
the
sir.
ER
yeah,
2020.
yeah, is there a motion that we close the Board of Equalization and Review for the year 2024 for the tax reevaluations that we conducted for 2024?
Motion.
There's a second. The motion has been made that we close out
Thank
the
y'all.
Board of
Thank y'all.
Equalization and Review for 2024 for our 2024 tax appraisals.
Mm.
All those in favor say aye.
Hallelujah.
Any opposition? Ayes have it. So moved.
Renee, not Renee, just her. Did you ever get the information from the jail?
So just